Welcome. Hold on. Oop, I don't got my hat on, but welcome everybody to a special pregame show featuring Internal Budget's Brandon Maki as we are here for the Ottawa Senators versus Montreal game. Big time game here. Brandon, how are you doing today?
Buddy, I am doing fantastic. Hopefully doing better. I mean, we just ordered coffee and it spilled all over the bag and ruined my donut, so that's not great. But other than that, but the coffee's still great. You want to give a little shout out to the Moss. I'm probably pronouncing that wrong, but it's MOS in Toronto. Fantastic little cafe and cookie shop. I'm doing good, man. I got my coffee. I'm all set. How are you on this fine Saturday afternoon?
Well, you know what? Firstly, shout out to that business, support small business. Firstly, very important. Number two, I'm doing fantastic. I'm here with my buddy right here. We got a Sens game at 4. Blue Jays game on right there, up by 2. It's a good Saturday afternoon. More, and what's better, Carey Price is starting for the Montreal Canadiens, so the Ottawa Senators actually have a chance tonight to win.
Yeah, Caden Primo, I think, might have their number a little bit. Maybe Brady Tkachuk is still trying to chase down that puck that he tried to steal from him last time around. But yeah, I mean, Carey Price is Carey Price. I don't know if him being in net gives Ottawa a better chance to win, but I know if I say that, it will certainly get on the nerves of Montreal Canadiens fans, which is just hilarious. Actually, the other night, when Brady did his little shimmy after the goal, I tweeted it with a GIF, and I tweeted the GIF, and I said, when Montreal takes Kotkaniemi at 3.
I'm going to read a couple of the comments here. Yo, Rocky Bo 3, what's going on, bud? Lucas C, big time fan. Thank you for the support. Let's go. Rocky Bo, thank you. Matt LaRose, let me see Cheese. Hey. That's coming up at 3:30. Matt Bosty will be joining the show at 3:30, so stay tuned for that. Quinn Lazon, hype, thanks for the support, bud. I admire your dedication, Rocky Bo. Appreciate that. Oliver, thanks for joining. Matt Bossler's in the chat, everybody. Gaby Oates, what's up, bud? Matt LaRose, you look so old. Or the other Brandon looks like a wee baby. Well, I like to think I look a little older than I am. Lucas C, got a lot of people here. Appreciate it, everyone. Thank you so much. So the first thing we're going to talk about, Shane Pinto. Shane Pinto, NHL debut tonight. How are you feeling, Brandon?
I'm really excited. I think there is a lot of worry among fans that when rookies come into this lineup, they're going to get buried on the lower lines and with a lack of minutes. But I think the fact that Pinto is playing with Alex Formenton and Connor Brown, that's been this team's checking line lately. And those are two guys that are rolling. Connor Brown just snapped an 8-game goal streak. Formenton, I think he gets at least one breakaway a game. So his odds of scoring are always pretty good. I think the fact that he's playing with two guys that are rolling and two guys that are complementary to his style too. Shane Pinto is a really good two-way center, really responsible in his own end. I think he's going to play pretty well with those two guys. So I'm very anxious to see it.
I can't disagree. I can't agree anymore. You know, you put him with a Connor Brown, you put him with an Alex Formenton, with like you just with Formenton. He has so much speed, and he actually scores on those breakaways. Connor Brown is one of the hottest players in the National Hockey League right now. He's coming off 8 games in a row with a goal. He has a 9-point streak going on right now. And while we'll get to JBD in a second, with Shane Pinto, what we're seeing here with DJ Smith is an opportunity for Shane Pinto to get prime opportunities, and I think that's great.
Yeah, I think so too. I think it just shows a level of trust. And I mean, it goes back to, I know people are upset about JBD not being in the lineup tonight. I still think he's going to get a lot of games down the stretch, so I wouldn't get too bent out of shape about it. But that being said, who was he playing with last game? He was playing on the top pairing with Thomas Chabot. Yeah. And he wasn't playing a regular shift, but it's not like he played 9 minutes either, and the Senators were pretty much running 5 defensemen. Yeah, I think he ended up being 3rd or 4th in terms of total time on ice among defenders. And I know Josh Brown is Josh Brown, and we kind of know what he is as people who have been watching this team for the past year or so. But ultimately, I think they're all going to get their looks. But going back to Pinto, I think he's going to have a tough matchup. They're on the road in Montreal. I almost blanked on the name. Dom Ducharme is going to try to get his top guns against that fourth line. He's going to see some young players, and he's going to try to exploit that. So Pinto's getting thrown right into the fire. I think he's capable of managing. I think he's really good offensively, and the way that he maintains defensive responsibility and uses it as a way to get open for offensive chances and find his teammates. I'm really excited to see what he brings tonight.
I do want to switch the subject for one thing. I see a couple of people asking if Cole Caulfield is playing. Currently, yes. He is not slated to play, is he?
Oh, really?
I believe there's cap issues with the Canadiens. The Carey Price contract is so large that they literally have no money left. So Carey Price is starting tonight. So if he's starting, they drop Ouellette and one other player, Caulfield should be able to play. So honestly, I would assume it's a game time decision, but I think Caulfield has the opportunity to play tonight, but Carey Price's contract is kind of screwed over a lot of things for the Habs, so I guess we'll have to see closer to game time. But once we have that confirmation, we will let you know for sure. But yeah, Shane Pinto, listen, this kid, Shane Pinto, just look at his highlights in North Dakota. This kid has played hockey for less than 10 years right now, okay? He hasn't played hockey. I think he started playing hockey when he was 15, okay? And high school, exactly. So the fact that Shane Pinto, 32nd overall selection, which is essentially a first-round pick, okay? This kid dominated in NCAA with UND, nominated for a Hopi Baker Award, had his over 60% face-off percentage, with a line with Fermenton and Connor Brown. I am really excited, and I think he's going to do really well with the Ottawa Sanders, and I think the Sens are going to have a fun time watching him play in his NHL debut. Now, I want to talk about JBD. He is scratched, and we were talking about this before today's stream that he's scratched. You can make the argument for, hey, you know what? DJ Smith gave him a good opportunity last game. He had 60 minutes on the ice. He gave him some opportunities. You can also make the argument that, hey, why is he not playing against the Montreal Canadiens, his childhood team, an arena that he said on the Wally and Thought show, by the way, check it out if you haven't already, on the Wally and Thought show, where he said that is the barn he would want to play in for his NHL, for one of his first games in the NHL. So I feel that Senators kind of missing an opportunity here to give JBD experience of a lifetime, but I think you can also make the argument that, hey, it doesn't hurt to have him watch from the press box. So what are your thoughts on JBD?
Well, there's also no fans, right? So I think part of playing in the Bell Center is the atmosphere and the rabid fan base that they have.
Yeah.
I think the other part of the equation too is there has been some speculation that DJ Smith is doing this to shelter JBD a little bit. These Ottawa-Montreal games are always physical. And as the Canadiens kind of start to get healthy, that's something that's only going to stand to increase. I don't think it's the worst thing in the world to get JBD out of a game where he would be having to fight with Josh Anderson in the corner and, players of that nature.
Yeah.
So not the end of the world by any means. I think Josh Brown brings a little more of the physical element. And for whatever reason, whether they're right or they're wrong, the Senators do believe that he discourages people from taking shots at Brady Tkachuk. They've been very vocal that they don't want Brady Tkachuk fighting. So if Brown is in there to fight Brady's battles, fine. I think that's totally all right. The Senators have some games coming up against the tired Vancouver team as well, and I mean the tired is the understatement of the year.
Yeah.
But so to get Bernard Docker in for those games is probably the worst idea. That maybe you're kind of getting him in some soft competition to ease him in. Who knows? If DJ Smith is thinking that, then I think that's actually really smart. And I think that's the best way to get JBD in the lineup without throwing him into the fire too much. You got to remember, there's 12 games left in this season. The Senators aren't going to the playoffs. No. JBD just played a full college season, so it's not as if he needs the reps. And next year he's going to be a full-timer, I would think. If not a full-timer, then he'll be playing top pairing minutes in Belleville. So I don't think it's the worst thing in the world to have him not play tonight. Selfishly, I do want to see him play because I love the player and I think he's fantastic to watch. But it's nothing to burn Twitter down over.
Yeah, I agree with that. Listen, like I just said, I would prefer if JBD got to play against his hometown team in his hometown barn. Not hometown barn, but his hometown team barn. But at the same time, you're not wrong. There is definitely benefit to him watching in the stands. There is benefit. I would obviously prefer him to play. I would disagree with you on that. But hey, like you just said, he's going to get plenty of opportunities moving forward. And I got to give DJ Smith credit. Listen, this guy, we rip him all the time, and I rip him too. But hey, those forward lines tonight, they look great. The defensive pairings are a little interesting. But hey, last game, JBD got 16 minutes on the ice. He's giving Fermenton prime penalty kill opportunities, special teams opportunities, okay? Would we have seen that with Guy Boucher? Probably not. So
I know, and this is the thing, and I don't mean to cut you off, but this is the thing that kind of bugs me about criticisms of DJ Smith, and there are plenty of valid criticisms of DJ Smith. I don't think a refusal to play the kids is one of them. I really don't, just because I haven't seen it. Like Eric Brandstrom's gotten chances. Drake Batherson is a top 6 winger this year. When they sent Brandstrom down earlier in the year, let's call a spade a spade. He was not playing well defensively. He has not been good in his own end of the ice. Even a guy like Tim Stützle has been atrocious in his end of the ice. He said he's been terrible defensively, but has he been playing outside of the top 6 all year? No. Right. So I think the kids are getting chances. Josh Norris is another example. I know people are frustrated because I think people are waiting for this rebuild to finally pay off. And they're going to feel like when all this pain of the Carlson trade and the Stone trade and everything like that, it's all going to pay off once all the kids are in the lineup and contributing. So I understand the desire to rush to that end, but I really do think that Smith has been fine in his deployment of the kids. Also, Cap Friendly is saying something really interesting.
What's up?
They're saying that if the Habs send Primo to Val, they would be able to fit Caulfield in under the cap.
I think they have to drop your Ouellette as well.
Oh yeah, well, Cap Friendly said, this is from Cap Friendly. Okay. If they send Primo down to the taxi squad or minors, they create enough cap space to be able to recall both Caulfield and Jake Evans.
Okay, well, hey,
that's interesting.
That is interesting. It's funny how the cap is literally that tight for them.
Yeah, good investment on that Price contract.
Oh yeah, great investment. I'm a big fan of it. But speaking of the Canadiens, we are a pregame show, so we're going to cover the Canadiens a bit here too. Firstly, they're in the middle of a fierce playoff battle with the Calgary Flames. Montreal fans, if you're watching this, you're welcome. All right, if it wasn't for us, Flames would probably be ahead of you because we beat them in the season series. But
badly.
Exactly. But Cole Caulfield, if he makes his NHL debut tonight, what should we expect?
A goal. He's a guy playing his first NHL game against the Ottawa Senators. He's gonna score. Like let's just be honest. It is a fait accompli at this point. It's a foregone conclusion. But no, realistically, I wouldn't be surprised if Caulfield scores. I mean, the kid has a scoring touch unlike many that I've seen. But I think Dom Ducharme is going to throw him right into it. I think knowing that he's matched up against a relatively young opponent in the Ottawa Senators, it's not going to be as difficult a first game as, say, playing the Toronto Maple Leafs would be. Not that the Ottawa Senators aren't
interrupt you, but Matt Bosty just had something that just made me laugh. He commented, Cole Caulfield, more like no ball field. I can't wait to have him on the show in 15 minutes. Oh my god.
Very excited. But no, like it's, I think Ducharme would be more comfortable matching Caulfield against Josh Norris than he would against Austin Matthews. Let's just be honest. So I think he's going to get some good opportunities, maybe even some power play time here and there. Yeah. But I think ultimately I've accepted the fact that if he's in the lineup today, he's going to score. And just hopefully the Senators can score more. But yeah, I'm excited to see Caulfield play. We cover the Senators. We obviously root for the Senators. We want them to win.
Yeah, for sure.
But I think ultimately, as a hockey fan, I'm excited to see what Caulfield can do. I'm excited to see him at the NHL level, and for the same reasons that I agreed with Ian Mendez the other day about Foligno and Spezza winning the cup. All of you come at me on Twitter. You already did. I think from a hockey fan perspective, I'm very, very excited to see Cole Caulfield play. From an Ottawa Senators perspective, I know that you're going to have to score. You're going to have to score at least 2 to win this game because Caulfield's going to get 1 for sure.
Now, speaking more of the Canadiens, Brendan Gallagher, that's a big injury. My grandparents, shout out to them, love them. They are huge Gallagher fans. In fact, they have a little tree in front of their house. Those little trees that you can plant? They call it Galley, little Galley, okay? So they are big, big Brendan Gallagher fans, right? So
it's probably taller than Gallagher.
Actually, it's like this tall, so that's like for my
taller than Gallagher.
It's about taller than Gallagher, a couple inches taller. But with Brendan Gallagher, that is a huge loss for the Montreal Canadiens. That guy, it's a poor man, Brady Tkachuk, I would say. He gets in your head, gets in dirty areas, and he scores the dirty goals. If you watch his highlights, he doesn't have any toe drag Jason Spezza like goals. He's always sniping the shot between the hash marks or in front of the net. So with for the Canadiens, a team that they're not exactly, they always have had scoring issues. Losing a guy like Brendan Gallagher is a big deal. So for Montreal, what can they do moving forward? Is Cole Caulfield a guy that can replace a Brendan Gallagher in the scoring department? And more importantly, who can step up for Montreal to score if it's not Caulfield?
Well, I don't know that anyone can replace the impact that Gallagher has. I think you're right. I think there are some similarities to Brady in the way that they play physically. They are pestilent in terms of in terms of their impact on other teams. Yeah. But Gallagher, he might have a little more in the way of high-end skill than Brady does. I think he's a bit faster. I think his release is probably a little bit better. I mean, Gallagher, for my money, has one of the most underrated releases in the league. So to answer your question about who can replace that impact, I think it has to be a collective effort.
Yeah,
I think Caulfield can help. I don't know if you're expecting a first-year pro to come in the last 12, 10, whatever games of the season and replace Brendan Gallagher's impact. But I think if he can get a few here and there, that'll help. Ultimately, it's the top guys that need to step up. It's Tyler Toffoli. It's Josh Anderson that need to score. Even a guy like Eric Stahl needs to find the back of the net. If I'm not mistaken, this is going to be Ottawa's first look at Eric Stahl this year in a Montreal Canadiens uniform. So it's going to be interesting to see. As far as their playoff race goes with Calgary, they do have the games in hand, which is huge. I think they have something like 5 games in hand or something silly like that. Yeah, it's a lot, I think. And I think Calgary really desperately needed those points from Ottawa when they didn't get them. So, but yeah, I'm looking forward to seeing if there's any kind of different line deployment from Dom Ducharme. Is he going to go all out? Is he going to have the guys like Anderson and Toffoli together? Or is he going to kind of try to spread the wealth down the lineup? What kind of a look is Caulfield going to get if he plays? That's a guy, you got to play him in your top 6, right?
Yeah.
Like at least your middle 6.
Sniper for sure.
Mm-hmm. So, and you can have Eric Stahl in the middle of the lineup as the checking forward and with a little more defensive responsibility. So I'm curious to see how it plays out. But I think to answer your question about replacing Gallagher's impact, it has to be a collective, right? Like it's not going to just be one guy.
Now I want to steer the conversation. I'm going to put this on the screen here. So Victor Mete. It's his first game against his former team, the Montreal Canadiens, for Victor Mete, okay? So what should we expect tonight, or today, I guess it's an afternoon game, against the Montreal Canadiens, his former team? What should we expect from Victor Mete?
I think he's going to be really motivated. Anytime, like as a professional athlete, you have to take stuff personally. I was not a professional, but at the collegiate level and when I played, I was really good at that. I took stuff personally. If they, like, for example, to give you a football metaphor, if I was left unblocked, I took that as a sign of disrespect, things like that. So I think Victor Mete will be motivated to prove them wrong, especially considering it was a situation where he was a pretty good fit, but the way that it happened was, he was rushed too early to the NHL level. And then they kind of gave up on him as a 22-year-old with RFA control. I mean, it doesn't get any more damning than that to waive a guy when you still have contractual control over him and he's 22 years old. Like, that's a pretty clear statement that we are comfortable with the idea of not having you be a part of this team, essentially saying we don't believe in you. So I think Victor Mete will be motivated tonight. I think DJ Smith might use that a bit. You might see Mete get a bit more in the way of minutes tonight. But I'm anxious to see it. I think his game complements what Ottawa's trying to do really well.
I agree with that.
In the sense that you've got 3 good puck movers on the left side, and then you're kind of got the 3 more defensively responsible guys on the right side. At least that's the intention, and that's what DJ Smith has long tried to do. He wants to have his offensive guys and his defensive guys, and balance those pairings. So I think you could see Mete get a bit more in the way of minutes, maybe even some more in the way of power play time. But more than anything, I'm curious to see what Montreal looks like without him. The overarching sentiment that we've all gotten from Montreal fans over the past, few games since Mete's been in Ottawa is that Montreal could really use him. Like, they're really missing his speed and his puck moving ability. So if he's skating circles around the Senators, or around the Canadiens forwards rather, I wouldn't be surprised, and I think that would be really interesting to see. But I think motivated is the word that keeps coming to mind.
The issue with Montreal, it's this. For years and years and years, that team has always kicked away puck moving defensemen, and I don't understand why. PK Subban as example. I'm not a Canadiens fan, but when Andrei Markov, shout out to him, he's a great player, but when Andrei Markov was one of your better offensive players a couple of years ago, then you got an issue. Okay, so for Montreal,
at the end of his career,
yeah, like that's my point. Like Montreal has always preferred the slower defensemen, and that's not a slant against those guys. They're doing their job, but the point is, in this league, you need a puck mover in the back end because the teams are so close now because of cap space and all the cap space issues these days. Montreal with Victor Mete, yes, he was rushed into the league, but also at the same time, look at the Canadiens now. Who's their puck moving defenseman back there? Shea Weber? Like, who's their puck moving defenseman? So for Montreal, they're a better team than Ottawa right now, but how long is that going to last long term? Like, you need to have puck movers that are young in your back end, and they give up a Victor Mete through waivers for nothing. I don't understand it.
I don't think that they are going to be markedly better than Ottawa for long. And I don't think they are now.
I mean, only for this year. I mean, now, give it a couple of years is what I mean.
Yeah. I think Ottawa has more in the way of high-end talent than they do, at least coming up. Montreal doesn't have a Brady Tkachuk. I mean, he's better. I would wager to say, and maybe this is a bit of a hot take, but I would say he's better than any of Montreal's forwards. Jesperi Kotkaniemi is a nice player, like a nice player. But I mean, I like Tim Stützle in terms of potential. I think he has a higher ceiling than anyone on that Montreal team. And on the back end, you have the puck movers that Montreal doesn't. You have three in Brandstrom, Mete, and Thomas Chabot. Yeah. And then that's to say nothing of Jake Sanderson coming in hopefully another year or so. And then, Jacob Bernard Docker, and you go through the prospect pool, and it seems like Ottawa's in pretty good shape. Even as far as goaltending is concerned, Montreal has one of the best goalies in Carey Price. But how long does he have left, especially where that contract is concerned? And you can rattle off like 5 Senators goaltending prospects off the top of your head. So I'm comfortable with Ottawa long-term, but I think where Mete fits into that, I don't know. Because he might end up being the odd man out with guys like Sanderson and Clevin coming, but I think he'll be back next year for sure. And you're going to get a good look at him. Though I do think Ottawa needs to add at least another player on the blue line, probably on the right side. But I'm interested to see it.
Be a starter every single game. No disrespect to him. It's just like,
Yeah, and I mean, I had higher hopes. I had higher hopes for him this season. He was actually one of the guys I was looking for to cement himself early, and
I heard good things from Florida. I heard good things. I thought he was going to be great.
Well, he plays well in DJ Smith's system for the most part. I think he struggled against certain matchups, and like if you look at who his partners have been, he's been partnered with Braden Coburn and guys like that. It's hard to have an impact that way. So much is dependent on your partner as a defenseman. I mean, we've seen that with Brandstrom and what Zub has done for his game. It's steadied him and Chabot and DeMello. So I think Brown can be a serviceable bottom pairing guy. I don't think he's just a fighter. I think he's a good physical third pairing defender.
Not terrible.
No. I mean, he's better than, I would wager to say he's better than Eric Goodbranson.
Yes, he is. 100% he is. Without a doubt, he is 100% better than Eric Goodbranson. I agree with that, 100%.
So I mean, I think he could have a future, at least short term. I mean, he's under contract for another year. Yeah. So we'll see what happens, but yeah.
I wanna shift the gears now to ask, before we get Bosty on, I'm gonna open the chat box to the fans to ask some questions to us. So what I'm gonna do is basically send your questions in. For the next 10 minutes, we're going to answer your questions, and then we're going to bring Bosty on here to have some fun, and then we're going to wrap things up. So make sure to ask your questions, and I'll be looking, and I'll pick out the best ones. So make sure to ask them right now, and I'm taking a look right now. So, by the way, we got like hundreds of comments here, so make sure to comment right now if you already asked a question, because I did not see it before.
Has nothing to do with me, I'm sure.
It's everything to do with you, Brandon. Internal Budget has the most committed fans in the world.
That's not true at all. They all said they were going to stop listening because I agreed with Mendez yesterday.
Listen, let's talk about that while we wait for the comments, all right?
Such is the weakness of the common man, the fickle masses.
I love Nick Foligno. I love Jason Spezza, and I respect them for wanting to win a cup with the Leafs. But if the Leafs ever win a cup, Can you just imagine Twitter? Can you just imagine Twitter for the rest of eternity? Leaf fans, if
It'll be bad. It'll be bad.
That's the understatement of the century. It would be I would probably delete my Twitter. I couldn't handle it.
I mean, it'd be better if Ottawa would eventually win one, but we have no guarantee that that's going to happen, right? So that's the issue. If Toronto wins one and then Ottawa wins one, 2, 3, 4 years later, it's not so bad. But
so we got some questions here. So first question. Oh, Bosty, we'll do this again when you're on. We'll get you in for some questions. Don't worry about it. So Giant Pie 12. Should Chabot take a game or two off? I say no. Brandon, what do you think?
No, I just think he should be playing 23, 24 minutes. Yeah. I don't see the need to play him 26, 28 minutes a night. You don't need to give him a game off. I mean, there's 10 games left in the season, and he's going to have a pretty extended layoff before things really get going again. Who knows if we'll have a preseason in the fall? We don't know. So I think Chabot is going to get plenty of rest coming up. Just don't kill him down the stretch. That would be my stance on it.
Next question comes in. I'm seeing a couple here. I'm going to answer. I'm not going to even let you answer this. I'm just going to answer this for myself. RockyBo3 asks, could you see Nick Paul being a dark horse for captain? Yes, but Brady Tkachuk will be the next captain. Nick Paul is clearly a leader in the room, but Brady Tkachuk or Thomas Chabot are clearly the two candidates.
Unless Brady Tkachuk leaves. Yeah, it's not happening.
Shh, don't say that. Moving. Tight Fraser. Can the Sens seriously compete with Nikita Zaitsev on the team as a regular?
It's Tate Fraser, not tight.
Fraser, my apologies.
Yes, no, I'm going to say yes, but it is contingent upon him not playing top pairing minutes. I think he needs to be playing either second pairing minutes with a very good partner on the left side, whether that's a Sanderson, I don't know, or on the bottom pairing. His contract, I don't see it becoming an obstruction to the Senators just because they never spend to the cap anyway. So in that sense, no, but yes, they can contend if he's playing third pairing minutes and they have better options ahead of him.
Now I'm seeing a lot of questions, so I'm trying to get to the best ones. They're all pretty good, but let's see here. Firstly, I see a lot of Wally and Mathot Show stuff. If you haven't already and you're a Sens fan, what are you doing? Make sure to check out Wally and Mathot Show. It's a great show.
It's so good. Why are you watching this? Turn this off and go watch Wally and Mathot.
Put that on right now and then come back here after. So I've gotten a few draft questions. So what do you think the Sens should do in the draft?
Oh, hell. I can't really answer that without knowing where they're picking. I don't.
Let's say they're top 3.
Yeah, well, again, like the consensus is still kind of weird this year. Like we don't know who is going to go top 3. I still need to do more reading up on the prospects and watching some film. I love Brant Clark. I mean, who doesn't? He could end up going first overall. I love Owen Power, Dylan Guenther, who is, I think, another really good option on the right side. If you got Dylan Guenther and Drake Batherson as your right wingers of the future, you're doing okay. And that way, you can give Evgeny Dadonov some favorable matchups, and Connor Brown can play a mainly defensive role. I think either right wing or right defense is where they're going to go. It's where I would go. Unless like an Owen Power falls into your lap. I believe he's the left side. He plays the left side. But yeah, I mean, if you get a Brant Clark, then I'm okay with that. I think ultimately it's going to depend on where they pick, but I do think they need another stable option on the right side.
I'm just adding Matt Bosty in right now. Just
why?
Well, you know what? I love the guy. He's going to be in the show.
Just so everyone knows, he begged to be a part of this. He had to beg. He begged us for 3 days. He called me day and night. The reason I haven't slept in 3 days is because Matt Bosty has been calling me every half hour to tell me to get him on this live stream. So,
listen, Sens talk. This is the place to be right now. If you're a Sens fan. All right. So, firstly, we're gonna do this. We're gonna do a little bit of this and that. We're gonna get to your questions after, but for now, ladies and gentlemen, the one, the only chicken rotisserie master, Matt Bosty. Bring him to the room right now. Where is he? There he is.
A minute to load up. Why wouldn't you do the intro while he's connecting?
You know what? I'm on the fly here, Brand. I'm trying.
Now we're sitting here for 5 minutes while he connects. You got nothing to fill this dead air with.
Well, talk to me.
Who's running this operation?
Better. Isn't that 15-year-old kid that's like a stud right now.
Who?
Connor
Bedard? Yes. Yes, he's exceptional status.
Ladies and gentlemen, I'm going to do the intro again. The one, the only, the chicken rotisserie mastery of Sens Twitter, Matt Bosty. Welcome to the show. Welcome to the show, bud. How you doing? We
Nobody
can't
can
hear
hear
you,
you.
but I'm sure it's great.
No, it's
There
all
we go.
bad. The secret is everything I say is garbage, and I know nothing. It's a good thing you got some legitimate analyzing done before I came on, because we are going down a hill from here. How y'all doing?
Nice of you to
Hey,
clean
I'm
up
doing
your
good.
room before you got on the show.
Oh, I didn't. I just moved my chair a little bit to the even bigger pile of garbage. So this is
That's
just
what I see.
strategic placing. You live like this? I'm expecting welcome to your Carlson years to show up and just yell about this crash. To the right, way worse. To the left, horrible. Here, this is semi-presentable. That's it. Like, the light is off for a reason. I live in a trash pile, but
Yeah. Are you
that's
living
society.
in a cave?
Yeah, well, I'm not turning on the light. What?
Hold on,
Get out of
question.
here.
I need to know who's on the back of your jersey right now.
No one, nothing. I kept it plain. I got
Probably
this
the
one
good
with
choice.
that.
Probably the right
I'm thinking, I don't know. I like to get weird ones. I love goalies. All my other jerseys are goalie jerseys. So I might get this one stitched with whoever ends up being our starter in the next couple of years.
I think you got to do it. I think you got to do it. Whoever doesn't end up being the starter. So if Anton Forsberg is playing somewhere else next year, it's got to be Forsberg.
I'm not gonna get Forsberg. I love Forsberg. Don't get me wrong, but I have no emotional connection to Anton Forsberg. Absolutely great goalie. Glad he stepped in. But come on, when you got Gus, you got Dax on there. You gotta think of that. You think of that.
I'm sorry.
The
The
guy who has
chat,
a
the chat is
gold
going
3D.
crazy right now. I have to ask, what's with the Ron Hazy jersey right behind you?
Oh, this is a good this is a good time. So last year, Matt LaRose, bless up Axe, brought me to a game, and he bought, I think it was a Kachuk jersey in the Sens store, and they had a promo going on that if you spend X amount of bucks, you get free tickets to another game. He was like $8, $15 short. So I went to the jersey rack, and I was looking for a Zaitsev that they didn't have, but I found because hilarious. And then I found a Hainsey, and when I brought it up to the cash, I actually said I might be the only person to ever buy one. And the person running the cash nodded and then just started laughing. I am convinced there are no more of those kicking around.
You know what's funny? Ron Hainsey's getting some good representation on this podcast, because on my desk I have a puck signed by Ron Hainsey.
I have nothing against him. I got nothing against
Nice
Ron
guy,
Hainsey. Yeah, it seems like he wasn't even terrible for us last year. He wasn't anything. He wasn't the reason we lost. Well, okay, there were bigger reasons why we lost games than Ron Hainsey, but still. I like Noah. Noah just shouted out a Matt Sogard jersey. That he got the double A in the last name, even though he's Danish and the Dutch. Basically,
Did you see Trevor Shackles? I think posted it was the actual name pronunciation, like how to pronounce his name.
It's like Sogard.
Yeah, I saw that.
Like, it's just never gonna happen. I
literally practiced for 5 minutes straight. I'm like, can I get this?
You can't even pronounce Bedard. How are you gonna pronounce Sogard?
Do we gotta bring up Tate? Tate was right here 10 minutes ago.
Right,
That's four letters. No, come on. You're doing well. We gotta cut you some slack.
Now, Joe Latino is asking, let's talk about Forsberg's helmet. I think he just got a switch back.
I know Bosty loves it.
It makes no sense.
That's why you love it.
It's, you know what? My first look at it, I was like, I don't know about that. But seeing it in game, especially contrasting with his blue pads, it is this beautiful hodgepodge mess. I think if this was a very serious, if we had signed Forsberg to be a starter, to be a backup, and he comes out with that helmet, I'm like, it looks like you just Googled Senators and then put a weird dog on the side of your helmet. And I know this dog's been on all his helmets, that's his shtick. But it just doesn't have that much personality to the helmet that screams Senators. But again, where did he start this year?
I think
Winnipeg.
he was with Winnipeg.
No, I thought Winnipeg picked him up from somewhere else. I thought we were.
Oh, they picked him up from
Edmonton,
and he was
Winnipeg,
in Carolina last year.
Yeah, exactly. He does not care at all. So he is happy he's just getting some games under his belt. So I can't blame it to it. But that dog is having fun up there. I tell you what.
Tell me something. How are you feeling about Shane Pinto's NHL debut tonight?
Excited. I'm trying to go with no expectations because a college level hockey into an NHL level hockey is a pretty big jump. And he was only playing 3 weeks ago. And that's the big thing. People talk about Brady being able to walk onto the NHL ice and just absolutely look like they belonged. That's real different when you have an entire summer to practice, to prepare, to talk to coaches, get this going. Pinto's got 2 practices under his belt. If he looks bad tonight, that's fine. I don't care.
Mm-hmm.
I really hope that Sens Twitter don't start roasting him for a couple of bad decisions, but he's already our promised one. He's the one that he's our number 1 center, and we know Twitter has their favorites and they can do no wrong. So I'm hoping that stays that way.
The Playboy.
Well, the other thing too is.
Go ahead.
Sorry, Brandon. Go ahead, buddy.
Yeah. So just before I throw it back to you, Bosty, the Playboy Master says, and I think you'll agree with this. I know this is random. Great name. I know this is random, but Lalim had the best Sens helmet ever. Honestly,
yes.
him and Ray Emery are neck and neck. That's really
fun.
Fun.
Razors were so good. Yeah. That's true. He had the red one. He had the red one, and then he had the white one. Emery did, and they both had Sugar Ray on them. I think they did. And
I don't know. I was really young, so I don't remember.
Was it Ali he had on one of the Bosty?
He had a bunch. He had Holyfield too as well. I'm gonna. I love Lalims, and here's the thing: you're both children. You can see by my big mustache that's growing in that I've got a couple of years under my belt. Ron Tugnut. I know it kind of looks kind of cartoony now, but that was the first helmet that screams Senators in my mind. Growing up watching Tugger back there with that weird orange splat on it, that was iconic. Doesn't have a whole bunch of coolness or anything like that, where Lalim definitely wins, but I think Tugnut would be in the thing. But then the Lalim Martian is just it's also iconic. It brings you back into some pretty scary playoff series when you close your eyes and think about it. But with his anthem trance and then everything like that, it is pretty good. There's some good ones. Shout
out to Lalim's Martian. But what we were saying about
Hashik's bucket helmet too.
Yeah, there's no Hasek. There's no Hasek love in this fan base.
What? Okay, wait. This is ironic. It took me a second. No, I will die on a hill. I will die on a hill. We can talk about every single bad decision the Ottawa Senators have made. Dominic Hasek was willing to play for league minimum for the Ottawa Senators. Yeah, he was. He was willing to play for league minimum after his injury, where all of his money was only to be paid off if he won the damn cup. And we're like, nah, you can go. And then he signed for the Red Wings, and he didn't have a starter position. They won the damn cup the next year.
Well, clearly none of you schmucks have watched the latest episode of Internal Budget for some reason. But
check it out.
Was I on it? Because again, I don't. Are there podcasts when I'm not on them? I don't. They just blend.
But I had Dean Brown on, of course, and he told me, I asked him, and I posted the clip actually, but I asked him, what's the one Senators team where you look back on and you feel bad for them because you go that was the year. And he said it was the 06 team because there was some players who thought that Hasek could have come back while he was hurt and just didn't want to. So that one I think sticks in their craw. But he's got the T-shirt. Okay, I can't.
I was gonna wear it. I was gonna wear it upstairs. But I forgot.
If you haven't already,
there's stairs. I'm not going upstairs.
Internal Budget, fantastic podcast.
Get out of here. You're not worth stairs, Brandon.
Stop. No, I'm not. Absolutely not.
Now,
kidding me?
No, I'm just joking. No, but I think you're right on the money, and I guess not you. Dean is right on the money, as I have watched.
Well, if anybody knows,
I have watched the Senators team for a long time, and there has never been a more convincing Senators team than 06. And Hasek's injury was tragic. He didn't want to go the Olympics. He was dedicated to Ottawa. And I think it's really unfortunate that he had that weird injury and it's marred his time here. Could he have come back? Maybe. But at the same time, don't play through anything you're not 100% comfortable with. And Hasek was always weird about that.
Leams Martian has entered the chat. And they say, I heard you guys were talking about goalie helmets. He just... That is funny. Now, I do want to kind of awkwardly switch the conversation more towards the reffing this season. And
it's Bosty, man. Everything's awkward. Just go for it.
I was about to talk about Dominic Hasek in his underwear, but we can go on from that. That's fine.
So as I was saying about the refs, this this season has exposed refs in a way that we've never seen before. We've always had the feeling going into games that, hey, the refs, they have makeup calls and they have game management. We had that confirmation during that Detroit versus Nashville game. So I'm going to play some clips here from a game against Calgary. Another day. I got 20 seconds. Shout out to my producer, Giordano Ladisa. Beauty. I put together a lot of stuff, and this is one of them. There were so many penalties in that game alone, so I'm going to play this. Just get an idea of what it is.
I posted this one too when it happened. Like, how's that not a penalty?
How are none of these penalties? Like, look, like, how is that not a penalty?
And then do you have this one, the embellishment? Yep. This was the one time all year where I've been furious. Yeah. Like, where I've been like, I don't get mad at the refs. I used to be a ref, and I don't get too emotionally invested in the games. But for God's sake, like, that game was egregious. If people have to keep in mind about this game, DJ Smith was yelling on the bench at the officials after the game after Ottawa won. They won the game, and he was still pissed off. You know, like, that's how bad it was. It was horrific. And I think it was Nicholson on that game who did the Winnipeg game the other night as well. The Senators are like now 0-8 when he does their games. And I mean, I'm not calling one guy out because there's a standard of zero accountability for officials across the league. Yeah, but the Wednesday night's game was not officiated well either. It just wasn't.
No, like so many calls.
Oh, it was insane. There was the one play, Nick Ehlers cross-checks Eric Brandstrom in the face and then slashes Batherson and sends him flying, and neither one was called. And then Ottawa gets a too many men penalty when the guy's a foot from the boards. It's like, it was asinine. It was ridiculous.
You can hold up sports against other sports and see a lot of similarities, but I think that NHL refs are more emotional than a lot of the other ones. And I think that also shows on the ice, because my heart goes out to these refs who end up being screamed at by these players, coaches, and all that too. Like, it's not an easy role. No one's saying it's easy, but there's harbored resentment. There has been how many voice clips have come out where it's like, well, last game you made me look like an idiot, or blank going on like that. The emotions need to be removed at a certain point with the refs. And I think it's being exacerbated right now where they're reffing the same teams, just like we're playing the same teams. Yeah. It's the same refs up here. So I think they get annoyed with certain players, and I think I think we're going to get used to it a little bit, because Brady Tkachuk is the best in the league in both getting away with some stuff and also making sure stuff is called. I'm not saying he's a diver. I'm just saying he knows the routes that he's taking to the net. He's going to be pulled down, and a call is going to be played, and that's the right play to make, and that's one of the reasons why I love him. But I think these refs end up getting mad about it, and I don't know what the league does at this point. I think Tim Peel has brought a conversation to Gary's desk that has to be addressed. Is there needs to be a couple of things in place where these refs don't end up making them the main focal point of a game.
Well, change is coming because people are betting on this sport now, and the NHL wants people to bet on this sport, and they want to make money off the betting revenue. And people aren't going to bet on it if the officiating is going to be so out of left field that it's going to take guys out of the game. You know, so I think that is going to be a huge part. I think we will see some change this summer and going into next season, just however small, because the league can't afford it, right? Like they want to get into this new revenue stream that the NBA is doing and the NFL and all these other leagues, because the NHL is perpetually behind the curve. So, you know, so I think now Tim Peel, like you said, Bosty, has ignited this conversation that not going away anytime soon. It's just not.
Now, we're a pregame show right now, and what pregame show wouldn't show Pinto's rookie lap? So I'm going to do that right now.
Nice.
Going to make sure the volume's on for everybody to hear. All right. Here's his first look in an Ottawa Sanders uniform, looking beautiful out there, and his number 57. Let's see.
Why is he not wearing 12?
I don't understand that. Yeah, I don't know.
I need to fall in love with another dark-haired, right-handed centerman wearing number 12.
How are his eyes? That's the most important part. Does he have piercing eyes?
The important part.
Those jerseys.
I don't think.
My God.
Yeah, can we tell? I know we've talked about this. Is me. I am the proponent of I hate jersey Twitter. We still need to keep talking about how beautiful these 2D jerseys are, because every single game that I see them in, red, white, black, doesn't matter. It just looks so good.
Oh,
boys, I'm going to come right out and say it. Ottawa, Montreal, best jersey matchup in the league.
Honestly, you can make that argument. You can say Montreal.
Love Montreal's jerseys. They're just classic. You can't go wrong with classics.
Yeah, I don't know. I don't know. They just look like garbage to me. Like I see that Habs logo. I'm like, well, you can't wear that. That looks like it stinks.
That's like an emotional decision.
To be fair, I like the retros. I like the blue. I don't know why,
they're
but
so good. The blue, they're so nice. It's crazy to think that Montreal has never explored that at one point or another to have the blue jersey, right?
They did in the 2009, 2010. I'm pretty sure they experimented with some blue.
Oh, it was the striped one, eh? Like
I think they did that and another one. I'm pretty sure. Yeah.
Yeah. I don't know. I like the reverse retro a lot. I really do.
With the older, like more warped C, they did like a blue jersey. I'm pretty sure.
Yeah.
Now I want to bring it back to the comment section because appreciate everyone here. Firstly, we got more people than should be here to listen to us three.
Really.
But since you guys are here, I'm going to, of course, get you guys involved. So I'm going to share this and we're going to start answering some of your questions here because we got 13 minutes until game time. So I'm going to put that on the screen. Here we go. And just, there we go. Okay. So I'm going to, Bosty, if you guys see any comments in the chat box, make sure to be my guest. Answer, I don't want to be the gatekeeper.
The host. What do you mean?
Dude, we can have buzzers. Wait, we can use the lovely raise your hand function.
Yeah, we'll do the raise hand
like
function.
I can post some thumbs up. I don't know if that shows up for anyone else.
You are right. I am the host, so I'll pull some of the questions. I guess that's my job. So, firstly, ask your questions. I'm going to scroll up because the chat's a little, the stream's a little behind. So some of the questions here.
Kevin pointed out that 57 is actually Tommy Wingle's number. I love that.
Yep.
I think there was a player somewhere in the league whose last name was Hines, and they gave him 57, which I just think is a nice little touch.
What team? You know what team?
I want to say Boston, but I think I just assume any player that I don't really know was on Boston at one point.
Speaking of that, Mike Riley. Before we get to some of the questions,
oh yeah,
he's playing well. Him and Taylor Hall there.
They love him. They love him. My dad's a diehard Bruins fan. They love that Riley pickup. He fits so well. They have so many good puck movers on that blue line, and as of right now, they've been decimated by injuries. Like everyone's been out, including McAvoy. So Riley's getting a good look with some good players, and Grizzlick too. And so I'm not surprised. I'm not surprised that he's doing so well.
Polino87 asks, "What do you think about Stutzler so far?" Sorry for my English. I'm from Germany. Firstly, thank you for watching all the way from Germany. Germany, sick. Number two.
First of all, Danke Deutschland.
Yeah,
that was terrible. But
number two, I'll answer first. Tim Stutzler. Listen, he's a frail. He's younger. He's not going to be physical right away. But what we see every single game is slight improvements. What we see every single game is the reason why we, as Sens fans, should be excited about him. Every single game, he pulls off a move that I'm like, holy hell, how the hell did he pull that off? So with Tim Stutzler, he's going to be just fine. And I'm looking forward to the future for this kid. I think this guy's going to be a superstar. What do you guys think?
Sky's the limit. Sky is the limit. In my time watching the team, which is about 14 years now, at least closely, he is the most talented player that they've acquired through the draft. When you talk to people who saw earlier iterations of this team, and they are making comparisons to guys like Marian Hossa, this kid's going to be a player. Yeah. So I don't have much more to add on it than that. I have said, the gentleman who asked the question is actually from Tim's hometown, so that's pretty cool.
Hey,
sick.
Love the representation.
Shout out to you, Paulinho. 87.
I'm pumped. There isn't a single moment or a pairing where he's on. He's played with so many different people this year, and every single time he stands out. He is not being carried. He is not just kind of along for the ride on a line and getting his chances because someone else is doing the work. He is carrying so much of the play, and frustrations aren't getting to him. He had a long streak, a long pointless goalless streak. Every night,
goalless.
Yeah, every night he was still driving the play, taking shots, trying something new. He didn't look like he was just giving up. He didn't look like he was just kind of coasting. And that's what I want to see from a player like this. I would love for him to have put up 80 points this year. That wasn't going to happen. That was never on the table. But what I wanted to see was a consistent season where he never looked out of place. And I think that right there, every game, little strides. And that's, I love him. I love him.
I love him too.
The other part of it is he's hitting the wall too, right? Like he's getting fatigued. You can see it. He's never played a season this long. He's playing 3 games in 4 nights half the time. Like, it's just to be expected of a rookie. So
I'm getting fatigued. And I
me
haven't
too,
I haven't stepped on an ice, so let's be honest here.
Not many people know this, and I don't speak about it a lot. But firstly, of course, I love doing my videos. Okay, no problem with that. But people don't understand or realize that my videos, they're edited during the game. I'm filming these videos. Parts of my videos are done during each intermission. Like it's tiring this season for many people like us three, and of course for the players. Next year's can be interesting though, because with the spread out season, I do look forward to seeing, does that help players with their stats? Does that help players with their game prep? And does that just make everything better? I think it does, but we'll see.
I think so too. Good question from Colby here about Logan Brown. Finally healthy and playing for Belleville today, thank God. What should they do? What should they do with him next season? My answer on this is pretty simple, and it's just
it's done.
I don't know. I don't know how you keep going back to him. Like, he's got all the talent in the world, and I'm not knocking Logan Brown as a person. Some guys just can't stay healthy. I'm not playing football anymore because I couldn't stay healthy. Yeah. You know, like it just happens. Sometimes your body just gets to a point where it can't take it anymore. And I'm not saying Logan Brown's not going to figure it out somewhere else. He might.
I hope he does.
Me too.
Absolutely. Absolutely. I just don't think the Senators have any room left to go on this. You've drafted good centers, the guys like Ridley Gregg. You've got Cole Reinhardt, I believe, is another center, unless he's a winger. But in any case, you got Stutzle probably. You got Stutzle probably going to play center. You got White. You got Norris. You got Pinto. Like, I just don't see the need to hang on to a guy that at 22 and what is it now, 5 years after he's been drafted, is still trying to prove it and can't stay healthy. So I think I'm done. But that's not to say I'm rooting against Logan Brown. I hope he puts it together.
Sure.
I wouldn't give him away for nothing. That's the only thing, is I would try and find a fit that would work, and I would try and see what you can get back. A second or a third, sure. But I don't want to see them just cut ties and let him walk for a seventh or something like that. At worst, just give him he's not going to garner that much money in any sort of contracts coming up. Does he have another year? Or is this RFA year? I think it's his RFA year, right?
But on that point, regardless, on that point, Lucas C made a good point saying maybe it's a potential sweetener in a deal with Seattle.
I was thinking about that as well, but I think Seattle's going to look for more roster players. And
Seattle's. Sorry, Bosty, go ahead.
I got a couple of questions here after you finish your point there, Bosty.
Yeah, I think they're going to look for roster players, and I think that Logan isn't a bad idea to sweeten him, but what's Logan going to do for Seattle in 2 years? Is he going to play on the third line or the second line? That would be cool, but it's not going to help them get a team that looks good. And he is a kind of a problem. I don't want to say a problem prospect, but
it doesn't move the needle, right?
I frankly don't think you could get a second round pick for Logan Brown with the amount of injuries guys had, even in the OHL. Going to the AHL, you'd be lucky to get a third or fourth. And that's not reflective on his play. When he plays, this kid is clearly a first-round talent, but he can't stay healthy, so why would anyone trade for him? Now, I got a couple of questions here. First question comes in from big-time Sens Dog fan. Appreciate the support, Oliver Ty. They ask, is Sogard our future starter? If not, is it Gus or DeCourt?
Oh, Lord.
Let me grab this. I love goalie talk. Sogard absolutely could become a future starter, but he's probably 2 or 3 years out even backing up in the NHL. He's a huge goalie. He looked great overseas. He does not have the experience to play on small ice. He looked a lot shakier when he was playing a little bit in the OHL. Not that he looked bad or anything like that, but he's going to have to really work on some of the fundamentals. His attacking of the puck in the blue, in the very limited parts that I've seen, isn't bad, but he's relied a lot on his giant frame, and that is a lot easier to do in the in European game, because the game is just fundamentally different out there. Gustafsson, it really impressed me in the NHL this year. He has been the best of all of our backups to have played at all from my perspective. He was stable, calm. His fundamentals were fantastic. He never let out a play where I'm like, oh, that's a bad one. It was always just he was making the right moves at the right time, but I don't think his ceiling is all that high compared to the other people we have. Dak is the guy I am 100% gung-ho on. This guy is a unique goalie. His puck moving rivals Brodeur when it comes down to it. And he also 100%. I would say that Joey Daccord could.
I love Joey, but That is also potentially the best goalie of all time. So
hey, third on the list, easy. Just to bring the heat, but he is bringing a puck skill that I don't think any other Senators goalie has ever brought onto the ice.
Yeah.
And I think that he works on it, and it could be an extra tool that you can do. That's just looking at that. At the same time, his athleticism is nuts. If you watch his play out in Arizona, he was a one-man team. Arizona, the I forget the team name right off the top of my head. Their team. Thank you. Yes, Sun Devils. Great name.
Don't worry.
They had no stars. They were on the back of Joey the whole season. Absolutely, and they did great. And I hope that they keep going. But he was fantastic. If you had put him on Nodak, if you had put him in Boston, if you had put him anywhere else, he would have been everyone would have been talking about him. So I think that after 2 years in the Ottawa system, working with goalie coaches, backing up, getting time, starting in the AHL, he has the chance of coming in and being a Vezina quality goalie. Easy.
I agree. I think Joey Decourt's the future starter. I think Gus and Mandalise and Sogard and all these guys are going to battle, but I think Joey Decourt, friend of the show, by the way, great guy. Fantastic. He's a fantastic guy, though. He is a fantastic guy. This guy.
Does he want a chicken?
Hey, you know what? I'll ask for you. If you want to work rotisserie chicken. We're going to get to one more question. Then we're going to talk about a podcast coming up very soon. Then we're going to wrap things up because the game is starting probably within the next 10 minutes. So the next question, Colby Schreier, big-time fan as well, asks, does Troy Mann get enough credit for developing the young guys in Belleville? I'm going to add on my own question there because I don't think he does. And more importantly, is he the future head coach of the Ottawa Senators?
Well, I'll take it. I don't think it's fair to say he doesn't get enough credit because Belleville has been a pretty highly touted team and system for the past couple of years, ever since he was hired. So is he invaluable to this organization? Yes. He's been instrumental in the development of guys like Batherson, of Brandstrom, of so many of the Senators' top prospects and players right now. So I won't say he's underappreciated, but he is invaluable. Is he the next head coach? I don't think that's a fair question just because we haven't even seen 2 full seasons of we haven't seen one full cohesive season of DJ Smith yet.
Yeah, I don't want to fire DJ yet.
There's no reason. There's no reason to. It would be asinine to fire him right now. So I think, after you've got a couple 82 game seasons of DJ Smith, and I think at least another 2 years, then we can maybe start to have a conversation about, is Troy Mann the guy? I think it depends on a few things. I mean, he's been a consistently good AHL coach for a long time. He developed the Hershey Bears, which was instrumental to Washington's Stanley Cup win in 2018. A lot of guys came through his system. I think Mann is perfect. I think they need him in Belleville right now. But is he the future head coach of the Ottawa Senators? I'm not prepared to say that yet, just because I haven't seen enough from DJ Smith. That's all. Is he able to do it? Does he have the potential? Yes, but we're so far from that conversation right now. Like, it's not even funny.
Now, before we wrap things up, do you guys have game predictions for tonight?
Yes. 4-1 Ottawa. Easy.
All right, I like it.
Easy peasy.
I'm going to say 4-2 Ottawa.
I'm going to say 5-3 Ottawa because Carey Price usually is a high-scoring game. Now, I do want to shift it before we wrap things up. Tomorrow, 8:30 p.m. Eastern Time, we're going to have a great interview episode with the one and the only one here, Brandon Maki.
That's me.
Yeah, exactly. Well, Bosty, by the way, will be coming on the podcast very soon. But Brandon
Maki.
I don't want to have my episode out there anymore. Forget it.
But yeah, tomorrow, 8:30 p.m. Eastern Time on Sunday, available on all streaming platforms. And of course, here on youtube.com/Sens Talk. We're going to have a great episode for you tomorrow. So stay tuned for that. And most importantly, Bosty, where's the chicken? I need the chicken. Where's the chicken?
It's 4:00. I'm not hungry yet. I got come back at 6:30. I'm always hungry.
He just woke up 45 minutes ago.
I had plenty of cheese foam this morning. I'm good.
He emerged from his nest of garbage back there. And
it saves on heating. Come on. I'm just being environmentally friendly.
Well, guys, What a way to end it off here. So a couple of things. Firstly, I'm gonna, it would be kind of rude if I didn't do this. So I gotta do 2 things. Firstly, before I plug my stuff, where can people follow you guys?
Go ahead, Bosty.
Oh, okay. I'm only gonna plug my TikTok because I don't understand that platform. So please follow me on TikTok at Matt Bosty. They're nonsense right now. I'm trying to be hip. I'm trying to be with it, but I'm old.
They're so bad, but they make my day every time. Don't follow me on TikTok because I haven't quite figured that one out yet. You can follow me if you want, but I got nothing up there yet. Follow me on Twitter at Brandon_Maki_. Podcast is called Internal Budget. New episodes every week. Writing is at silver7sens.com, and I've also got a free email newsletter. It's maki.substack.com.
And of course, everybody, you know where you can follow me and find me and everything. At Senstalk_ on Twitter, at Senstalk on Instagram, youtube.com/Senstalk. You know the drill. Make sure to follow for all your exclusive stuff. And yeah, thank you guys for coming and stopping by for today's show.
Hey, thank you for having me.
Yeah, thanks.
Thank you.
Well, we'll do it again soon. I think it really worked well today. I'm kind of shocked that I was able to pull it off, and we had a good time. So
lightning in a bottle, baby.
Hey, let's hold that lightning in the bottle and let's keep it going. But guys, it's been a pleasure. Everyone watching and in the chat, just know that we'll be doing this again sometime in the future. If it's me and Brandon, if it's me and Bosty, it doesn't matter. I'll be doing this in the future very soon. So
I'm not doing it again if it's Bosty.
Appreciate it, guys. Thank you all so much. And we'll speak very, very soon. And go Sens go. Big game today. And hopefully we get a big dub tonight.
Cheers.
Just gonna do this, set this up. All right. Cheers.